Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Major Colton Rasche, and here's my pitch speech. It's called The Locker Room Effect. I'm going to tell a quick little story. When I was 6 years old, I started my journey as a wrestler. My club coach, my first ever coach, he had a saying, giving up is not an option. As a 6 year old, I truly didn't know what that meant. All I knew is my first year of wrestling, I went 0-20 and didn't win a match. So all I could think about was giving up. But that's not what stuck with me with Coach Munoz. What stuck with me is his presence. His presence during, our practices. His presence during our daily interactions. Or his presence during, talks with our parents. Leadership comes from being present, not perfection. We often treat leadership, as another check in the box. For example, your PMEs, your quarterly counselings, your briefs that you have to go to for annual training. Those moments matter, but they miss that vital piece, that human side, that human interaction. As a 3404 financial management officer back in Camp Pendleton, I saw leadership, happen, or the conversations happen after, a Marine got in trouble, or those quarterly counselings that you had to do your job as a leader. True mentorship and true leadership happens before the mistake. In those small interactions or those quiet moments that build that trust with that individual or Marine. That's what I call the locker room effect. It's leadership through presence, not your position that you might hold. It's 5 minutes a day, one Marine, one sailor, one airman, one individual, no agenda, just listen. It happens, after PT or, walking to chow or in the office hallway, not in front of a projector. I use 3 symbols to explain it. The locker, the mirror, and the doorway. The locker represents, accountability. That's where each, Marine, sailor, airman, individual, they store that responsibility. The mirror represents, self-awareness. Leaders, check yourself, check, themselves before, you just start judging others. And the doorway represents, that transition. Taking lessons that you've learned from those small interactions and implementing them into, the tasks that you might have or the mission. The impact is simple. When leaders take time to just listen, it improves that morale of that unit, of that, organization. When Marines, sailors, airmen feel seen, that cohesion continues to grow. You start to see it grow. When connections become routine, that confidence spreads throughout the unit or organization. It's 5 minutes a day, and it might not seem like much. But over time, it shapes that culture of that unit or organization. So here's my challenge to you guys. Once you leave MPS, find that Marine. Find that individual. Find that airman, sailor. Ask a question and just listen. Because Marines, sailors, airmen, individuals, they won't remember, that brief that you gave them or directive that you might have gave them. They'll remember, those leaders that cared, that listened, that stayed consistent day in and day out, no matter how hard or when things got tough. That's how leaders, build that trust. That's how we as individuals strengthen the core. Thank you.